I tell you what now, this week's thrilling installment of Monday Night Raw had a lot of big sweaty men slapping all kinds of big sweaty meat. So much, in fact, I reckon SmackDown's Big E was sat at home watching this week's Raw, all cross-eyed and sweaty and with his dick in his hand. There was that much of it. Keith Lee and Bobby Lashley and also Sheamus and Riddle. Fantastic stuff. And I tell you what as well, between Orton versus Styles and New Day versus the Hurt Business, there was a lot of good professional wrestling action on this week's Raw. But coming out of the show, you still felt like it was all quite meh, didn't you? Or was it just me? You did, didn't you? Please say you did. And that might just be because this week's Raw got off to a bloody awful start. What the hell was that first portion of the show all about? What was the point in it? What point did it serve? And maybe just mentally we didn't recover from that utter bollocks. But it was strange, with so much good wrestling action, to still come away feeling a bit meh. But let's talk about it now. I am Farty McFart Pants from Cultaholic Wrestling. More on that a bit later on. And these are all the WTF moments from this week's Monday Night Raw intro, man. Do your bloody job, will you? And it's still there, everybody. And I know that for some time now I've been claiming that Riddle has been stealing from the Danone people who make the yogurts and whatnot. But have we considered that that little thing there on his tit could stand for Mr. Iddle? Look at it. Have we ruled this out? Have we ruled it out too soon? I'm just putting it out there. And then we have Riddle serving up a fantastic riddle of his own as he grabbed the microphone right at the start of last night's Raw and said to his compadres inside that wrestling ring, whoa, 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 I would like to be WWE Championship. What could he mean? He can't possibly want to be the WWE Championship title belt itself. What an enigma Riddle actually is, eh? Or maybe he's just very high. Probably just very high. And then we have a third slice of Riddle. How much yogurt could we possibly eat in one sitting? I'll tell you, a whole bloody pack. I've been there before. But at this point in the show, Mr. Riddle himself was being very funny indeed. Ha ha, ha ha, I said over and over and over again in response to the utter drivel that was coming out of his mouth. But at one point, which gives us a WTF moment by the way, Riddle told Sheamus, hey Sheamus, Fireface was not my first choice when it came to deciding your nickname on Team Raw for Survivor Series. My first choice was actually Firecrotch. But that was already taken, and the logical question, I know you're asking the same question as well, dear viewer, is who on that Survivor Series team has ginger pubes? Andrew Marr of the BBC and other political commentators of that ilk, eat your pissing heart out, lads and lasses, because WTF moments, that's where the hard-hitting questions, that's where they live. Who's got ginger pubes there then? Isn't it just so silly how big muscular men in WWE have to be so bloody stupid all the time, all of them? So during that bloody painful opening segment to last night's show, we're going through each and every member of the Raw Survivor Series team. Each of them are saying, hey, this is why I should be Daddy Drew McIntyre's next challenger for the WWE Championship. And then we hear Adam Pearce get on the microphone and he says some normal things like a normal human being would be, because Adam Pearce is a normal human being who uses normal human being words. He says, well, last but not least, let's hear from you, Braun Strowman. And I shouldn't be saying this, but Adam, you're doing it now. You've gone and made a big mistake. And that's because Braun Strowman got angry at Adam Pearce saying last, but certainly not least, and he nutted Braun Strowman. What do you mean last? Said Braun Strowman. What? And when I saw this reaction from Braun Strowman, I couldn't help but think about Sasha Banks telling the world that her appearance on Hot Ones, eating the chicken wings, is why she got that role in The Mandalorian, or whatever the piss in hell it's called. I'm no Star Wars expert. Jar Jar Binks is fantastic. Star Wars Episode 2, The Phantom Menace, is my favourite film. I know that's not the title, that's the joke. What am I saying here? I don't know. But that's because stuff like this reaction from Braun Strowman just proves to you that nobody in the wider scheme of things is watching professional wrestling, because if they were, they'd be saying, who the hell reacts like that, man? And they'd turn it off and put on, I don't know, tiddlywinks, Rosie and Jim, something worthwhile watching. What the hell was this from Braun Strowman, man? And then Byron Saxton said that Braun Strowman nutting Adam Pearce was the single most shocking thing in Monday Night Raw history, or some utter bollocks like that. And Byron Saxton, I have no idea where to begin unpacking that statement from you, but I've asked somebody from Raw's illustrious past to help me explain to you why that was such a stupid statement. You're right, I'm the baby that Braun Strowman kicked way back in the day. I'm just here to tell you, Byron Saxton, I didn't get kicked into the first row for note, you bastard. And then we have a direct quote from Cedric Alexander himself when he says, I do not, dramatic pause, like sitting on the sidelines. And simply based off the way Cedric Alexander's career on Monday Night Raw has gone so far, I would have thought that sitting on the sidelines was Cedric Alexander's favourite thing to do. It's what he does all the bloody time. Yep, I wrong. Yep, I wrong. And then after their loss to the Street Profits at Survivor Series on Sunday, Byron Saxton suggested that the New Day, they need to get back on their horse and keep on riding. And I was sat there thinking, horses? Byron, New Day, horses? That's not how it goes, Byron, and you know fine well, you smelly booty man. That's you told, pal. New Day, unicorns, not horses, man. Unicorns are way better than horses, Byron, you booty man. And then we have Mike Rome being the silliest of all the silly geese. So in the midst of that New Day versus Hurt Business match, we saw Kofi Kingston himself quite literally wanked off the top rope by Cedric Alexander to the floor. Kofi Kingston was then counted out, and despite the fact John Cone going, hey there, Hurt Business, you are the winners of this match, Mike Rome got on the microphone and said this is a double count-out ting. A direct quote there from Mike Rome. And that was all of our faces while this was going on, as this really painful start to Monday Night Raw continued. It was so hard to watch, wasn't it? And I tell you what, with the way that match finished in mind, with the double count-out turned into the count-out victory for the Hurt Business, and then all the wrestlers involved in that match going, hey, we're not happy about how this match ended, let's do some more of the wrestles. I sincerely hope those who put on Monday Night Raw did not have too much planned for after that initial Hurt Business versus New Day matchup. The selfish pricks, man. I was watching Hurt Business and New Day throw their toys out the pram going, we're not happy about how this match ended. And that took me back to the playground when I was playing with the doll, and my mum would always say to me, now Ross, you put the doll down so the other kids can have a play with it. That sort of works if you think about it really hard. They're being selfish though, taking up too much TV time that wasn't their TV time to take up. That's a bloody tongue twister. So then we get to the moment of the night, potentially the moment of 2020 so far, as Adam Pearce is telling us all that tonight, last night, on Monday Night Raw, we're going to have 3 singles matches. And the winners of those 3 singles matches go on to a triple threat match next week. And the winner of that triple threat match next week goes on to face WWE Champion Drew McInFart. That is one hell of a brain fart to happen there, Adam Pearce. Farty McFarpants, as you will be known from here on out. It would appear the smelly psychopath made his WWE debut last night in the eyes of Adam Pearce. But to be honest with you, as a man who ate that little bit too much haggis when I was in the Beavers and I was learning about hootenanny and other Scottish things like that, I can tell you, you will be a smelly psychopath after eating too much haggis. And of course, all Drew McIntyre eats is haggis, and all he drinks is Iron Brew, because Scotland. That's how my brain works, bloody hell. But I tell you what, I cannot wait for a couple of weeks' time where Daddy Drew McInFart is taking on the winner of that triple threat match from next week's Raw, and he whaps out his brand new finisher maneuver, the stink face. And of course, Gimmick Infringement Kane has just let me know that Daddy Drew McInFart is infringing on Natalia's farting wrestler gimmick. If you know, you know. Don't be stealing them farts, Drew. Do not be stealing them farts. But I tell you what though, Adam Pearce was saying these words after he was nutted in the head by Braun Strowman, who was acting like a very silly boy. So the fact he said Drew McInFart, I guess it kind of works due to the head trauma he had been through earlier in the night. But I tell you what, I reckon this is the one instance since the entire Thunderdome and Performance Center era of the WWE has been a thing. This is the one instance where not having a crowd in the arena was probably for the better. And I'm only saying that because just imagine the chance that would have happened if there was a live crowd inside the arena last night. Daddy Drew McInFart. You love to see it, don't you? Drew farting. Maybe that's an OnlyFans page he could open. So then we're hearing from Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss, and they're saying to each other, friendship will always let you down. Friends are evil. Friends are bad. You shouldn't have friends. They're all dickheads anyway. And I was thinking, well, that must mean they're not friends. So if they're not friends, what the hell are they? Tabloid newspapers, let me know, you scandalous pricks. And I tell you what, it's a very good job that Lana used to do the break dancing and the other dancing and the ballet dancing when she was a small Russian girl. Yes, that's how that one works, Ross. Because if she didn't do all of those things in her youth, that maneuver there would have left her f***ed. Remember a few short weeks ago when Nia Jax would stand on the ring apron and shout, hey Lana, you suck. You're so bad at the professional wrestling. Get out of the ring, you bad professional wrestler. Remember those times? Well, the shoe be on the other foot right now. Those who throw the stone should not do it in the glass houses, Nia Jax. Why are you living in a glass house, by the way? Are you a tomato? But I was thinking about Nia Jax shouting those things at Lana when Nia Jax, on last night's Raw, she headbutted Asuka in the stomach and just made everything look really weird. Now, I'm a lover, not a fighter. There's no doubt about it. Nia Jax knows more about the fighting than I do. Look, I don't even know how to do a punch properly. Is the thumb in or thumb out? Who knows what the score is there? But I tell you one thing, Nia Jax headbutting somebody in the stomach, that is just really, really weird. Even if Nia Jax does have a Samoan head, and hear me out there, do not pause and complain too early, dear viewer, because a professional wrestling law has told us anything, those with a Samoan head have a harder head than the rest of us. Why that is, I have no idea, but that's just how the professional wrestling works. And just like Michael Cole said at WrestleMania 30 when The Undertaker was fighting Brock Lesnar, guys, isn't it so cool? The streak is over. Yes, after 99,100,000 million weeks of Nia Jax putting Lana through the announcer's table via Samoan drop, she didn't do it last night, and that's got to be a WTF moment. In fact, one swift sidestep from Lana saw Nia Jax go through the announce table all by herself, and in the words of Michael G. Scott, well, well, well. How the turntables. And then, Riddle turned into Al Snow as he was speaking to MVP backstage, and he said to MVP, what does everybody want? Pizza. What does everybody need? Yogurt. And in that moment, I realised this, Riddle, absolute bollocks I've been spouting on these videos for the past couple of weeks. It might not be absolute bollocks. Of all the things he could have picked, Riddle, he picked yogurt. And to known, that's yogurt stuff. Apparently. And then gimmick infringement, Kane went radio rental when he saw MVP speaking to Matt Riddle in a WWE branded corridor. Yes, that's an actual thing in my mind. And he said to Matt Riddle, no, Matt Riddle, I'm not your bro. And that's gimmick infringement, and gimmick infringement Kane's words, because I've just ball tickled gimmick infringement Kane. That's gimmick infringement in gimmick infringement Kane's deluded eyes, because as we all know, in a WWE branded corridor, but in real life, Goldberg said to Matt Riddle, you're not my bro. And what any of this means is up to your interpretation. Alls I know is gimmick infringement Kane is angry. In fact, MVP, he might just be coming. Raw commentary team as a collective, surely there was only one thing that made connection with the ring post right there, and it wasn't Keith Lee like you were claiming. Quite frankly, with 345 pounds on his shoulders, poor Bobby Lashley. That one must have really hurt, and it makes you wonder, I just hope Bobby Lashley didn't bite his tongue on impact, which could possibly have happened with 345 pounds of Keith Lee on his back, crashing against the whatever that material is. And that's because, as we all know, way back in the day when Bobby Lashley tried to say the word bastard, he said bath turd. So if he bit his tongue last night, what is that word sounding like now? And now we have a direct quote from Tom Phillips, who was once again face fornicating the poo out of a line on WWE commentary when he said, when that thing there was happening in the ring, Lashley rolls under the bottom rope, beating the count. Moving on, and I've got to make it a WTF moment. They still haven't changed that brand new music for Nikki Cross, even though that brand new theme is clearly made for a southern, sexy, southern belle called Lacey Evans, as Michael Cole used to say really creepily back in the day. That theme for Nikki Cross, it still doesn't fit. Get her changed now. And look at that picture there, everybody. The M has gone, and just when I was thinking after Riddle's yogurt comment earlier in these WTF moments, I thought it was all making sense, but now the M has gone. This case has been blown wide open, everybody. But one thing we can't rule out at this time is the fact that, Riddle. I've said that way too much this video. I'm very sorry indeed. We can't rule out the fact that he might have died in that picture there. He's just Riddle now. And so then we get to the main event of the night, which was AJ Styles and Randall Keith. Randall Keith. And then The Fiend appears. Everybody's favourite Fiend, who ended Raw in the same way like he has already done roughly 1.3 million times since his debut last year. He pops up behind the barricade. Randall Keith poos his pants. The Fiend then ducks down behind the barricade. And in the camera shot we see is the exact area behind the barricade where the Fiend definitely never ever was. But despite showing the area behind the barricade where the Fiend definitely never ever was, the commentary team are still going, oh my god, where did the Fiend go? How could he disappear so quickly? Now, as we all know, I like silly bollocks in my professional wrestling, maybe just a little bit more than the ordinary bear, because I love 5-star wrestling, and nobody else does, by the way. But this silly bollocks is a little bit too much silly bollocks, even for my liking. Therefore, it's got to be a WTF moment. Just naff, isn't it, when you can clearly see what the issue is? Just naff. And just as the commentary team were wondering where could the Fiend have gone, oh, he's got all of these spooky mystical powers. Look in the background of shot there. We have got to blame dun 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 dun. The black and red stripes can be seen rather clearly as Brother Bray is going over the bloody barricade to then crawl along the floor to get into position to attack Randy Orton like that. From behind. Bloody Kevin, eh? Choose the proper camera angle, man. And so that's it for all the WTF moments from this week's Raw. I have been ravishing Ross to Adele, reporting to you on a Raw that had a lot of good professional wrestling action, but still felt very, very meh. Such a weird concept. How can this be? And just in case you missed our news video this morning, you will have missed me plugging my latest episode of Straight to Hell, which goes live after this here WTF moments video tonight, Tuesday, on the Cultaholic Wrestling YouTube channel. I've got David Arquette on, which is weird for me because when I was a very small boy, I was a massive fan of Ready to Rumble. So imagine how weird that was. I tell him that, by the way, and he was shocked. It's a good episode though. Recommend you watch it. I hope you do, but I'll see you next time on whatever video I do next.